with an interesting story of, how DigiYatra has transformed air travel across India. So I'll take a few steps back before even I begin my journey, right, of this presentation. Uh, how many of you have stood in a ration queue to get rations? 3, 4. Yeah, yeah. I was expecting your hand to be up first. So I come from that childhood experience of, like every 15 days rations used to be available at the ration shop, and our neighbor used to come and tell, okay, yeah, now ration is available, kerosene is available, rice, etc., right, is available. And we used to rush to stand in the queue to get that, right? And we used to get the cans, empty cans to fill up the kerosene, etc. And although I'm born and brought up in Mumbai, but we were in a suburb where we didn't have electricity, we didn't have gas, so we had to stand in this queue. So fast forward, I grow up and then I get into my profession. And once I got into my profession, I started to travel, and I see that, okay, a lot of queues again at airports. So the same experience, even at airports. And then further on, recently traveling abroad, land at a destination, and you find that you have to stand in an immigration queue, right? And 2 hours long. You've gone through a 10-hour long flight, and then now you have to stand in a queue for 2 hours for immigration process. So I think that is something which DigiYatra has sort of, solved, at least for domestic travelers, right? And I'll walk you through the whole journey of, how we set the vision, what was the process that we followed, how it is changing travel. And you see 2 zeros there, very important messages that I would like to leave behind. What these zeros mean, right? And there is a lot of media hype over data privacy and stuff like that, and how we have actually taken care of data privacy. That's one key message that I would like to leave behind. And I'll take some help from our architecture concept, where you will see how we have architected the whole solution in a completely privacy preserving manner. It's a completely privacy by design ecosystem. I'll also touch upon what we have as a current user base today, and then what we will have in future as features and functionalities. So when we started this journey, this was way back in 2015, when we were having this brainstorming session, right? And this was an opportunity for me, from the past experiences of standing in queues, right? An opportunity for me to see how I can change air travel, right? And we were in this workshop for Terminal 2. This was in Bangalore. I was working for Bangalore Airport in the IT department, and we had this 3-day brainstorming workshop saying, okay, we were asked to write a story in the life of an air traveler passing through Terminal 2, right? And I wrote a very simple story that, passenger just walks through all the touch points. There is no one who stops him or her, and passenger goes, boards the flight, right? And this was with the use of face as the token. And it was called at that time as my face is my boarding pass. Eventually, we sort of got into a stage where we said that, okay, this is something that we should work on if we want to really improve the passenger experience at airports in India. Because Indian aviation industry even today is like growing at a rapid pace, more than 20 to 25% growth year on year in terms of passenger traffic. And how do you manage that growth in passenger traffic? The brick and mortar way of doing that is to build bigger buildings, etc., bring in more equipment, etc. And the better way would be that, use technology to enable that travel, make it much more faster, make it efficient, and gives a superlative experience to passengers. So this is what we have tried to give in with DigiYatra, a completely walk in the park experience. And Bangalore being the city of gardens, you would have already experienced, I'm sure, at Bangalore Airport, Terminal 2 especially, the walk in the park experience that you get. It's a completely health risk-free process. You don't have to exchange any documents with anyone. Just walk through each touch point. And I keep posting this on social media as well, right? The best that I have been able to achieve in Terminal 2 of Bangalore International Airport is 5 minutes from airport entry into boarding area. And I was at an event like this talking, and the moment I stepped down, there was one guy who told me that, his wife has done it in 4 minutes. So yeah, so try and beat that, right? I mean, That's the kind of, what do we say, consistency and reliability that we want to offer as an experience to passengers. And what would you do with that experience, right? One is convenience, the other is saving time. Maybe you want to have that quick bite of, snack or whatever, or maybe you want to have that coffee. You will get some time additionally. And apart from the stress that, is taken away. And I keep meeting industry folks, right? And one of the ladies, she was telling me that, whenever she goes, she travels by air, she's going to a client visit, making a pitch on their solution. And, so many things are going on in her head about, what is the pitch that she is going to make and all that. And suddenly she is at the airport entry gate and then she has to give all these documents and there is an interaction that happens and maybe it is not a very amiable sort of an interaction, right? DigiYatra avoids all that and you can actually be in your zone, think about what you want to and then pass through all the checkpoints without any hassles. So that's what is the story of DigiYatra. Process flow, I think, how many of you have used DigiYatra? So almost like more than 60% of you have used DigiYatra, so I don't need to mention too much. But yes, it starts off with an Aadhaar number, an OTP, and then you get eKYC data from Aadhaar, which consists of your name, your date of birth, your gender, your face biometric, right? The face which you had used to enroll into Aadhaar. And once that is done, the app basically prompts you for a selfie. That selfie is used to match with the Aadhaar face. And once it matches, a credential is created and it is stored in your own phone. It does not get stored in any central location. And that's what I will leave a message later on as well, a few more slides. And you will see that, how it is a completely privacy preserving ecosystem. Once you have done this enrollment, all that you have to do is on the day of travel or a day before, when you get your boarding pass, you have to upload your boarding pass. And this boarding pass along with your identity credential gets shared to the origin airport where you are going to be validated for identity and for travel document. And when you come to the airport, it is a simple process. You just walk through the airport entry gate. It already knows that you are going to travel. It already has your data because you have shared your data to that airport. And then you walk through, go through security, and then finally reach boarding gate. So that's the process that happens. And then what you see in the amber block is coming soon, which is we are trying to also see if we can enable international travel, right? And we have an electronic passport-based enrollment that is already under test, under UAT testing. With that, we'll be able to allow people to enroll with their passport. And that is the most important data for you if you are traveling international. And you can actually imagine this, that you're going through, say, for example, you're going, say, from Bangalore to Frankfurt, and you share your credentials to Bangalore airport, go through a seamless process, board the flight. And when you share the credentials to Bangalore airport, you would have also shared it to Frankfurt airport. So they already know that you are going to be there. And then when you land at Frankfurt, very simple process, take the passport, scan it, and they fetch your credentials which you have shared, match your face, and then you go through in a seamless manner, not having to stand 2 hours long immigration queue. So that's something which we are working with IATA, and I'll cover a little bit more on those slides in our future slide. In short, basically what we have done with DigiYatra and the impact that it has left is that, no more long queues, right? It's so convenient, right? And when we were actually doing this design thinking for how do we define this passenger's journey, we considered one persona and we had multiple personas like the frequent flyer, the first time flyer, etc., etc. So we said, no, we will pick a persona which is unique. And this was like a lady traveler traveling with 2 kids. And the whole thought process was behind how do we enable that lady traveler traveling with 2 kids to go through in a seamless manner. So imagine if she was traveling with the normal process, she would have had to have 2 sets of documents, 3 identity cards, 3 travel documents, trolley being pushed, loaded with bags, and 2 unruly kids, right, going through. And imagine the whole process of getting validated at the airport entry gate. All that would have been a cumbersome process. Vis-a-vis with DigiYatra, what she does is she's sitting on the sofa watching TV. She shares all the credentials. You can add, parents can add dependents into DigiYatra and they can share their credentials. So share credentials, share travel data. And once you have done that, She comes to the airport pushing the trolley, two unruly kids still being unruly, but then she goes through in a seamless manner. Kids go before the parent and then she also goes through. So it's a totally seamless experience. It's secure because there is no chance of any data going wrong. For example, if a CISF, imagine the CISF to whom you provide your travel document and identity document checking manually, right? So many parameters to check. The name on the identity card matched to the name on the travel document. Travel document, you have to see whether it is the right travel document, which is this Bangalore is the origin, you have to check that. Date of travel, they have to check. Time of travel also they have to check. And then of course the face on the identity card to be matched with your live face, right? So all these complex tasks are completely taken care of by the DigiYatra process itself, which is a digital process. Even the travel document is actually validated directly with airline DCS. So there is no chance of a human error. And obviously it's faster, it's safer, and we contribute a great deal to sustainability because no longer you have to print your identity card, Aadhaar card printout not required, travel document printout not required. Apart from that, because the whole process becomes much more efficient, what is happening is the airports can actually get through more number of passengers while offering them a superlative experience, right? And therefore, they don't have to continue to build bigger buildings. With the same building, they can manage more number of passengers. So reducing the carbon footprint that the airport would have otherwise left behind. So these are the things by which or the impact of DigiYatra. So this slide is my favorite slide, and here on I'll just focus on the data privacy aspect. So we are more than 26 months into this business of providing identity validation. We have got more than 11 million user base today on Android and iOS apps. We have enabled more than 45 million journeys in the last 2 years plus, right? However, we don't know you, meaning that, we have not stored your credentials or personally identifiable information in any central location, and we don't know you at all, right? So that's one of the key messages. While we know your requirements as an air traveler to have a seamless experience, but we still don't know you as what you are, like your personally identifiable information, we do not store at all. So that's the key message, and we have printed these t-shirts as well. And maybe one short story about this one is I was wearing this t-shirt and flying, I think it was Indigo flight, I was on 2D, and I was just like on the aisle, right? I mean, there was another passenger entering in, and that passenger saw my logo. And he said, he pointed the finger at the logo and said, you make our life easier, right? And from that day onwards, I said that, okay, this has to be our tagline, right? So we say that, we make your life easier. So I think that's the whole motive or the motto that we have to serve our passengers. Moving on a bit more about how this whole ecosystem works, right? If you see the block over there which says passenger, who's the owner of all the personally identifiable information, and there is a small wallet over there. That's the wallet where all the credentials get stored. So all your identity credentials, your boarding pass document, everything gets stored in your own phone in that wallet. The wallet is basically the DigiYatra app itself, right? DigiYatra central ecosystem is the issuer of the credentials. And there is a validation with the Government of India ID database today, which is Aadhaar. And Aadhaar can be accessed through either direct Aadhaar or through DigiLocker as well. Obviously, we are testing out passports and electronic passports. So in the future, in the next few months, you will see that, if you have an electronic passport or any citizen, any global citizen who has an electronic passport, they can also enroll, because the passport, electronic passport has got a chip in it, which can be read through NFC. So you can actually put your phone on the passport and it can read the face image which is stored on the passport chip. So that will be another way of enrollment. And of course, at the last end, to my left, what you see is all the verifiers, right? And these verifiers are typically airports. And if you enable international, it could be immigration authorities as well. So these verifiers basically want to validate your identity or your travel document. So they are the ones to whom the passenger sends all the data. Sorry, I think I missed out something. So we work on a standard called as W3C, which is World Wide Web Consortium standards, and we use verifiable credentials. Verifiable credentials are nothing but soft form of your identity, which is stored in the wallet. And we use something called as decentralized identifiers, which are used to build sessions in a very privacy preserving manner, meaning that these DIDs are not fixed to a particular user. Every session creates a new DID, which means that nobody can trail you that you use DigiYatra at Bangalore airport and then used at Delhi airport or maybe at a hotel in future, etc. Nobody can trail you because every time a new DID is created. We are on Hyperledger, which is part of Linux Foundation. So we use the Aries stack and Aries Cloud Agent Python. We use secure wallets and everything is, I would say, secured through public-private key pairs. So just another version of the same slide. So just to reiterate that, it's the holder who has complete charge of all the data, right? And he or she acquires all the credentials, shares all the credentials wherever required for validation. And what we maintain is at the bottom, right, which is the verifiable data registry. And this data registry does not contain any personally identifiable information. It contains only hash values of your credential. And the hash value is basically used. So when you share your credential to the airport would like to know that, okay, this data has not been tampered with. And that hash value ensures, the check of the hash value or the proof value ensures that, okay, this data was not tampered. If you have been smart enough and you have hacked into your own phone, change some of the parameters of the credential, like a name, for example, or maybe a face, you wouldn't be able to travel because the proof value will not match and the airport will not accept your credential. So what we have done is we have empowered you as passengers with the data, right? You know to whom the data is being shared. So meaning that if you're traveling Bangalore, Delhi, the data is being shared with Bangalore. You know what is the data that is being shared. So it's all there in the consent form that you're sharing your name, your age, your face, and then your PNR data, right? So all these data points you know very well, right? The other thing that we do is once you've shared your credentials to the airport, you go through the airport process and within 24 hours, the data gets purged by the airport so that it is safe and secure. So that's a thought to leave behind. And coming to the data points itself, so very minimalistic sort of data, that is what we use, the name, date of birth, gender, because these are important for your travel and identity validation, your face obviously. And the last 4 digits of Aadhaar is what we get when the eKYC data comes. And the last 4 digits will not be able to sort of trail you or anything because you need the complete 12 digits if we were to trail you. And the PNR data obviously is the complete PNR data which has got your name, the sequence number, the seat number, flight from and to, date of travel, all that data. So that's how this is the minimalistic sort of data that gets shared and then of course gets purged within 24 hours from the airport that you have shared. And what we also plan to do going forward is that, many people ask us that, okay, you say that, within 24 hours the data was purged. How do I know, right? So we are going to enable this ecosystem with notification so that as soon as the data gets purged, you as the user will get a notification saying that, hey, Bangalore airport purged your data, right? The other thing that we also plan to do is make the ecosystem even more secure and robust by using a fully homomorphic encryption so that when the data is shared to the airport operator, it is going to basically be used only by the airport operator or the verifier and nobody else can misuse that data. So these numbers, I think I showed you already, more than 11 million user base. And this is as of 25th of February. For future, so you must, and I think you have also seen the DigiYatra app. It has got some buttons at the bottom saying, the icons at the bottom saying that, coming soon, right? Some services which are coming soon. So imagine you completed your travel, landed at Delhi and wanted to check into a hotel in AeroCity. And when you want to check in, obviously they'll ask for your booking details and then they'll say, give me your identity card. And now what do? You give your Aadhaar card or you take your phone and show the DigiLocker Aadhaar. And what does the check-in staff do there? They take a photo of that particular identity document, right? Or they take the document, take a photocopy of that. And this is all unencrypted data, right? Unencrypted data, and you are like worried, okay, what are these guys going to do? This guy has taken a photo of my identity card, right? So all that actually can be done away with, that risk can be done away with using DigiYatra. So this is something which we are thinking of in the future, where your journey at the hotel check-in also becomes much more seamless. And similarly, identity requirements for any other use case is something which we are going to open up very soon. Apart from that, the big thing that we are planning to do is the international travel. So IATA has got a concept called as One ID, which is nothing but DigiYatra, but for a say, international travel. And this One ID is a concept which for which IATA has written recommended practices, and then it's also going to issue standards. When IATA wrote these standards, they were expecting that people will adopt and then execute, but not many have done it. There are pilots going on, prototype testing going on, but nowhere an implementation as big as India, right? This is IATA One ID's biggest implementation across the world, right? At this volume, at this scale, nobody has done it. And they want to now showcase DigiYatra as the One ID use case showcase, right? So they are going to have an AGM in New Delhi. This is going to happen sometime in June, I think the second week of June. And what we plan to do is, during this AGM, aviation leaders, global aviation leaders will be coming to Delhi. And we want to, at least with 2 or 3 countries, what we want to do is we want to give them an end-to-end seamless international experience, to and fro. So that's the intent, and we are working with IATA towards that. And then, of course, we are also trying to see how we can reduce all these barriers of language, right? There was this YouTube video where this simpleton from I'm not sure which place, but he shot a video and he posted it on YouTube saying that chappal aur gamche mein Maharaja ki sawari Digi Yatra ke saath. And he was basically actually wearing slippers and having a gamcha on him, and he was walking through all the touch points. His friend was shooting the video, and he walked through, and then he was continually telling at every checkpoint, chappal aur gamche mein Maharaja ki sawari Digi Yatra ke saath. And then this sort of started to trigger a thought in my mind ki, I mean, am I missing something here, right? DigiYatra app is only in English. Why should we have this barrier, right? And many people would want to use the app in their own language. So currently we have started prototype testing with 5 languages, 4 metros and Bangalore, Kannada. So we have started testing, and hopefully by end of March, we will be rolling DigiYatra app out in at least 5 languages, if not 22. And we are working with Bhashini for all the language translation. So that's one thing that we are going to do. Second thing is our app and website will also have an intelligent chatbot which will help users to answer any queries, right? And many people may have concerns about their data and stuff like that. All those queries will also get answered using this chatbot. And then we, of course, spoke about many other use cases that are possible with DigiYatra identity credentials being used for hotels, for any IT park, for any event, for example, even this event, right? I mean, the registration process, why should it be so cumbersome? And this is something which DigiYatra can easily solve, and we would be pitching this solution for that. Moving on, I think we spoke about these. So the most important ones here is the international travel, the multilingual chatbot, and apart from that, one other big thing is when you're traveling through the airport, you would need services at the airport. For example, you are traveling with senior parents, and they may want wheelchair services. And you may want to book the wheelchair services, you've forgotten to book it while you book the ticket. So DigiYatra app will have that feature for airport services. And then based on your geolocation, it will trigger the right airport app so that you can book any services that you want. Porter service, wheelchair services, any services that you would want. So that's again under prototype testing. We are waiting regulatory approvals to go ahead with that feature launch as well. So yeah, I think this would be my last slide, and this is just to talk about the power of verifiable credentials, which allows you with something which is like, unthinkable, right? When you say that, there is a lot of talk about, hyper personalized services that are possible, right? And for hyper personalized services, you would basically enroll into a loyalty program. And when you enroll into a loyalty program, obviously it means that, you're given your name, phone number, email ID, so many things, right? But with this credential, we could tokenize everything, and everything could be on a zero knowledge proof token, which would share what you like, what you want, what offers you are willing to receive, but would not share your personally identifiable information. So I think that is something which is possible with the use of these credentials, right? All kinds of use cases are possible. And if I sit down here with the vast industry experience that you have, and I start to brainstorm with you, we'll come up with at least 20 use cases of how this credential can be gainfully used. And the future, I feel, is that there is the DPDPA Act and the enforcement that is going to happen. And many organizations who deal with passenger or customer data would be wary of penalties. And how do you protect yourself from the risk of data loss, theft, leakage, and pilferage? The only way would be to use something like DigiYatra, which could potentially use zero knowledge proof based validation. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have time for questions.
Maybe one quick short
yes, please.
question.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one at the back.
There's one at the last. Yes, please.
And right now with GenAI, hello. Hey, first of all, great presentation. What I want to know is that, how do you increase the adoption? Because one of the things which comes with trust is DigiYatra should be adopted elsewhere. Now, one of the key challenges could be deepfakes or some GenAI-based things undermining the credibility that somebody else can do that.
Awesome.
How
awesome
do you
question. Awesome question, right? I missed mentioning this point, right? When you give your selfie, right, we do liveness check, and that ensures that you're not putting any tablet with some deep fake video, right? That's one part of the story of enrollment. But think about it, you may deep fake your ID with maybe somebody else's face. But in that case, that somebody else has to travel, right? And then there are other parameters also which get validated, which is with your Aadhaar, we have taken your name. When you upload your boarding pass, we match that name on the boarding pass with the name on the identity card. So it will be very difficult to crack basically, right? So that's how we take care of this problem.